Good evening, one and all. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2022, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, and the UN Sustainable Development Goals 2030 awareness as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute and Center for Arts, Sciences and Well-being. Before we start our session, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue today's sessions. This week is celebrated, as you know, we are commemorating various days internationally, nationally, and regionally. And this is an opportunity to appreciate the diversity across the world and also, to give importance to our own cultures and traditions, celebrations, which are rich cultural heritage and lineage of our ancestors. And, it reflects our culture, which is the oldest culture in the world, which has been transmitted through us through a great lineage. So let's basically these commemorations are basically from the West. So we are appreciating because nowadays we are more on, more influenced by the West. So we are just looking at the West commemorations so that we can appreciate what we are lacking in that. How people have taken so much inputs from our system, and entire world is following it, but somehow we have left them behind. So this is also an opportunity for us to learn and appreciate, and also restore our cultures, traditions, and commemorations, festivals, and a lot more. So let's quickly move on to various commemorations. And we have one more session today. Maybe whenever the speaker joins, we will take it up as time permits. If there is any. Otherwise, we'll continue tomorrow. So this entire week is celebrated as Sexual Health Week. Basically, this is celebrated in United Kingdom from September 12th to September 18th. That is second full Monday to Sunday in September. And as part of the National Sexual Health Awareness Week, we are highlighting the importance of treating our sexual health as seriously as we would any other aspect of our health, including regular checkups, testing for HIV and sexually transmitted infections, STIs, and sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, and raising awareness about issues related to healthy relationships. Talking about sex can be quite embarrassing. And even, talking about sexual health or reproductive health is also a little bit associated with stigma. And even with advancements made to reduce stigma, there is still some stigma attached to sex. Also, some people don't have enough knowledge about safe sex practices. That said, let's uh, take a closer look at the Sexual Health Week. Why we need to talk about this, about sex, or for that matter, sex education, or for that matter, you know, sexual health? Because we need to know what are the safe practices, you know, by engaging, what are the benefits, or what are the, drawbacks, or what are the challenges or issues, or what are the, you know, hazards in engaging in a sexual activity, or what kind of sexual activity, or it may be any kind of activity, that how it is impacting our health, physical health, mental health, social health, uh, for that matter, economical or financial health, and as well as the spiritual health. How this sex or sexual health or reproductive health is affecting us in different ways, in different aspects of our health and well-being. So that's why it is very important to understand and talk about, and bring awareness, and to know about the nuances and different complications, or for that matter benefits, or that are associated with this sexual act or practice. So having knowledge about safe sex practices, and uh, that will help us to maintain our health and well-being. So aiming to keep everyone updated regarding sexually transmitted infections as well as sex education, Brook, a UK-based charity, holds a sexual health week across England to create an awareness of these issues. As a result of Children and Social Work Act 2017, which established the criteria for education of relationships and sex education in schools, and government devised a plan to make it mandatory from 2019, with an adoption to extend deadline to September 2020 if necessary. So relationships and sex education are now required in all schools, including primary, independent, academies, maintained, and free schools under the new legislation. So this is mandatory education in all the schools in UK. So special education facilities are also included in the new legislation. Even in special schools, sex education is mandatory. So Sexual Health Week was born out of belief that everyone desires a great sex life and no one should be criticized for it. Sexual health and well-being information should be widely accessible. They consider that everyone has the opportunity to make educated decisions about their bodies and know their alternatives. In the previous years, this week has also focused on issues that affect a large number of people, such as alcohol and sexual health, as well as talking to spouses about contraception. In 2010, the very first sexual health campaign aimed at people over 50 was launched. In recent years, there has been an increasing worry in the country about children being introduced to sex at an early age. The appearance of sensual themes in popular music videos, movies, shows has increased in recent years. You can see a lot of media which portrays children, young children in a very uncomfortable or unfavorable positions or characters or activities, and that influences the young minds, young children to experiment. Generally, children are very curious, to know about, to explore, and to experiment without, understanding the complexities of those things. They can engage in high risk taking behaviors just to want to experience, explore, or to know out of curiosity. So if they are not guided properly, they can ruin their life, or they can get into a lot of problems now across the world, especially in the Western countries. You can see in US and all the developed countries are facing problems of teenage abortions, teenage pregnancies. The almost this is very high, as high. The major problems in the US, or one of the major problems is teenage pregnancy. While they are studying, they are getting these young female teens are getting um, pregnant, and at that age they are not even emotionally stable, and not even financially stable, and they are not settled. And they themselves need to at that age they have to take so many responsibilities. And at that age, just taking the responsibility of a motherhood and a parenthood and family, even without completing their education, or even without reaching their maturity age. I mean, the minimum age, the body is also not completely um, developed in the sense, physically or emotionally, to handle these things. This parenthood or motherhood, for that matter, for a woman or a girl, is not a one day thing, or a one night stand as they engage in sexual activity. This isn't a process. Once engage in sex, and without any safe practices, you can get pregnant, and you have to go through it through the next 9 or 10 months. So that's why you need to be aware of various safe sex practices. And in the very first place, you also should be aware of infatuation or love, or addiction, and various aspects related to sex. Especially, sex is unfortunately portrayed as a kind of love, but no, sex is only just one kind of expression of love. And we love our parents, we love our mother, we love our father, we love our relationships, we love our friends. Does it mean we are having sex with everyone? This is especially the context with the West, where these relationships are not so, they don't have that kind of system. But our country is very much rigid, rigid in the sense very protective of the family system. Nowhere else in the world you can see such a close bonds within the family, that family protects each other, and they have very strict norms, especially when, even when communicating with the family members, or the kind of behavior that is allowed or that permitted, and the kind of activities that can be taken up within the family and across the family members, and how they are related to each other. you know it's not like animals going engaging sex with irrespective of relationships, or it's not that kind of culture we belong to, or we have, where this kind of culture is non-existent in any part of this world. And so they uh, they have a different kind of relationships. There are a lot of incest that happens in abroad. You can see father engaging sex with daughters, and there is like all those things happen in other countries, but that is very strictly prohibited, since ages from here. That is called incest. But here, the family relationships, especially when we are talking about sex, it is also very much important that these family, as a family, it is very important we need to understand these relationships and what kind of behavior is socially approved and what kind of behavior is not approved, and what are good practices, what are bad practices, and which are void socially, morally, ethically. All these we need to understand. It's not just that simply this is a problem, especially faced with this modern generations, because they don't have knowledge of our rich and culture and traditions, where women, girls are protected within the families, within the communities, within the societies. Now we see lot of abuse, or lot of you teasing, lot of um, even girls and women are engaging uh, in a lot of sexual activity without extramarital affairs. Now we can see almost every day in the news, women are killing husbands in the extramarital relationships, or for that matter, they are eloping. So why these all things are happening? We are not blaming anyone here, for that matter, not any girl or a woman, but why these things are happening? Why the families are not able to address this issue, and why just before marriage, either bride or elopes, or groom elopes, or even after marriage, in a very short time, they are approaching for divorce, or they are with mutual consent, they are living together with other partners, and now most of the people are engaged in either living relationships, and now with this new trend, LGBTQ, gay sex, lesbians, now there is no such this is widely promoted. Actually, when we look at the nature, why nature has given male and female, it is only for the procreation, so that human race will not become extinct, and we need to reproduce, so that humans can carry their genetic their genes forward. But what is the use of having sex with a boy, or a man with a man, or a woman with a woman? It is against the nature. And what is the purpose at the end? What you are achieving with that? The basic principle, or the basic concept of procreation is what the union of male and female. But the lot of misconception, the lack of proper understanding of the basic concept of why a male or female comes together, that is for the procreation. It is misunderstood, misinterpreted by many. And now you can see lot of these lesbian, gay, having sex together, living together, and they are getting married together, and what not is happening. What is the purpose of marriage? The entire marriage is different, and getting married is different. Marriage is only for a male and female, not the male to male or female to female, and you call that marriage, and you make fun of the marriage institution. Marriage institution is a very sacred act, sacred ritual. But now today, you are first of all, if you want to live together, why using the term marriage? You can stay together. You can be bisexual, you can be gay, you can be lesbian, you be whatever you want to do. But why you spoil the name of sacred ritual, or sacred commitment of marriage? You are making fun of it, and you are and there is nothing. When we look at the basic principle of union of male and female for the procreation, and when two people come together, I mean, when male and male come together, when women or women come together and engage in sex activity, will the procreation happens? Now, I'm not against LGBTI community, or because we have to respect the diversity, and I appreciate. At least I don't agree with them, or whether I agree or disagree, that is a different context or a different matter for that matter. But what the basic purpose of coming into union or a sexual activity is for procreation, and also to fulfill our sexual desires, in a socially approvable manner or socially approved behavior. How that socially approved behavior, when you will get that social approved behavior when you get married, and that is legally recognized and socially accepted. When you come together, when you marry, you get into relationship, then you officially and legally permitted to have sex and to procreate your progeny, so that you can carry forward your family. And that is what socially legally approved. But without having a proper understanding of these concepts, and people engaging in all sorts of this just simply imbibing all this culture, and even today a lot of people are getting spoiled. We can also see a lot of incest happening even in India. Why? Because of Western influence. We can see father raping daughter, and you can do mother, having extra marital affairs with other people, and lot of things are why these things are happening, because we are breaking our own family systems, which is very much unique. And we cannot today, we are moving towards a system by simply blindly following the Western system, or for that matter, where there is no culture of traditional family systems. We are moving towards that, and today a daughter cannot trust his own father, or a son cannot trust his own mother, for that matter. See, this is a problem. We don't understand. We criticize people saying that you are with old aged, and you are not this generation, you are outdated. But what is that you are achieving now? You are making yourself more vulnerable. You are not safe with your own brothers, you are not safe with your own fathers, and what you are not safe with your own relative male counterparts. And what kind of culture you are inviting? Now you are making yourself more vulnerable and more susceptible to sexual abuse and sexual acts. Now, how do you justify yourself when we look at these things? How we can justify? Now, you have totally spoiled the entire relationships, and you have spoiled, made fun of the entire system. And today, who is going to suffer? Who is going to bear the fruits? Ultimately, the female counterpart, where you feel unsecure with your own father, your own brother, or your own male family members or extended family members. You became totally unsecure. This is what happens, when people, without any logical thinking, just by following media, just by following some Western cultures without proper understanding, if we simply follow, this is what happening in this world now, especially in India. Lot of Western influence is happening, and without even having common sense, people are following them blindly. That is creating lot of problems today, a lot of mental health issues. No one is happy in this world, especially. Why? Because we have created a havoc, disaster with the systems which are there since thousands of years. There is no one to teach you. And even if someone is trying to attempt to teach or bring awareness, you are not attending. We are not attending to such sessions. We are not listening to people. We are not making efforts to attend such people, to At least ourselves, we are not. We are busy in watching serials, soaps, movies, whatnot, all the junk. But are we reading our ancient scriptures? Are we going back to these moral stories? Have you ever read these, Chandamama stories, which contains Panchatantra stories, which gave lot of strategies, insights, the kind of culture and values systems. And with these, invaders, they have destroyed entire Indian education system, and they have completely replaced the Indian education system with the Western models and Western thoughts and process. That entire culture is lost in that. That's why we see today education doesn't have any value of its own. Today, people are highly educated, having doctorates, postdoctorates, but lacking basic common sense. And they don't even have, ethics, values, morals. And what kind of education? These are highly uneducated. We cannot say them as uneducated because they are having these, degrees, UG degrees, PG degrees, PhD, postdoc degrees. We can say is uncultured educated, or illiterate, educated illiterates, or uncultured literates. We have to find coin new terms to, because of this entire education getting spoiled or westernized. This is a problem we are facing today. Everyone is engaging into corruption. No one wants to follow anything. No one wants to follow rules and regulations. But everyone wants the system to be very perfect, the community to be very ideal. How we will achieve that without no one following the rules and regulations, without for no one following the norms? How that can be achieved? Because at the end of the day, system is for the people, by the people. And if it is not followed by the people, then how do you expect system to function efficiently? So it is like for himself or herself, everything is an exception. But when some other person does, then it is wrong. If she or he does, it is right. And when some other person does, then it is wrong. This is kind of attitude we are going ahead with that. That is creating lot of problems, especially why we all are talking about this is it is very much related to the sexual health, reproductive health, and sexual behavior. When we think we engage in extramarital affairs, or living in relationships, or one night stands where you go have sex with someone, and and later on what happens, once there is a lot of changes that happens in the body of girls and women after sex. So who is responsible for that? So all these aspects are very important to take decision whether to engage in a sexual activity or not, whether to have sex, whether to go for sex or not. And if we go for sex, then what are the implications? What are the, what kind of responsibilities we are going to take, and what are the challenges, issues? As a male counterpart has no problem, if a male and female come together, have sex together, a male doesn't have any, physical developments, but it's not same with the women, the once if conception takes place, say if conception, the fusion of this meeting of egg or sperm doesn't take place, that's a different story. And if if you get pregnant, if conception takes place successfully, then since that day, daily, every minute, every second, there is a lot of changes that are happening. Growth is happening in your body, and lot of changes are there. Hormones are released, lot of developments are happening. Then who is responsible for that? And even say, suppose you are taking all the safe sex, precautions, contradictions, you are using conception, contraception methods, and engaging in sexual activity. And now there are different kind of, this is a kind of, now people, unfortunately, uh, earlier, there was a different culture altogether, but now it's like an willingly they are getting into prostitution now. What is these one night stands, and how we can understand these one night stands, or casual sexual activities with the partners, or even for that matter for unknown persons or just acquainted persons, or you know uh, like earlier there is a forced prostitution, now there is an with consent, we can prostitution has to be redefined, I think, uh, with consent, without consent, forced prostitution, or like something, maybe I think maybe in coming days people has to come up with certain things. Earlier, nowadays, even for that matter, girls and women are actively coming forward and engaging in sexual activity without marriage, or without premarital affairs and extramarital affairs. All these things are happening, whether it is advanced by men or women. Both are equally responsible, you know when they are coming together, when they are engaging in a sexual activity. So both are equally responsible for the outcome, for the activity. And more to that, because of the biological changes that happen in the women, no matter what, now there are different contraceptives like many are using. Even when I counsel especially such cases, women nowadays, they are using these copper teas where they are protected for even 5 or 10 years. Once inserted, it is there, and they enjoy a lot of sexual activity. They are not worried about getting pregnant. And so, but what is this happening actually? This is a kind of prostitution only. Earlier, someone is forcing you to have sex with multiple persons, but now you yourself are uh, uh, willingly going with different persons, and you don't know how that person is, how what kind of diseases or infections that person has, and what kind of sexual behavior that person is engaged in, and you put yourself into risk. And you can see a lot of STDs, STIs. You are infected with a lot of the sexually transmitted infections, sexually transmitted diseases, and at times with HIV, and various lot of infections that takes place in vagina and uterus, and at reproductive parts or organs of the body. These are the various aspects are involved. Sex doesn't mean just you know going and having sex. Sex also, there are different types of sex, oral sex, intercourse, anal sex, and different kind of things are there. So how do we understand all these aspects, and which is good for health, which is not good for health, to what extent one is contributing to other, and how productive it is? See, the purpose of sex is for procreation, and the other purpose, secondary purpose, is to meet our sexual desires, that too in a legal acceptable way and a socially acceptable way. So when these extramarital affairs, or when other things like one night stands or dating or mating, whatever we call all those things, when they are not meeting these two uh, requirements, then you are definitely somewhere something is going wrong. That is making us, or you, or anyone for that matter, vulnerable. That is affecting physical health, because there is a lot of physical energy that is required for engaging in sex. And also nowadays with a lot of pornography, because we see sexual abuse cases, we do counsel them, and sometimes we hear to them, and with a lot of pornography available, and there is a lot of BDSM, this lot of kind of content available on the pornography. Lot of violence is inflicted while engaging in sexual activities. So people want to do same with the partners nowadays. Even a lot of diverse cases, the female counterparts are not willing to engage in sex, because you know Sex is nowadays seen as a sport, as a, there is no like what we have to say. I'm not getting relevant words because this is not a topic which we generally discuss. So maybe nowadays, why it's like a wild sex, not a normal sex, that they want lot of kind of what we have to say, uh, lot of energy into it, and lot of pressure, and lot of pain, lot of all these aspects which are really bothering this health, and different aspects of sexual health and reproductive health. And not only with this, there are a lot of damage that is caused to the body organs and tissues. You can see after engaging in this sexual activity, a lot of people experience playing a lot of pain and rupture, and there is a skin is torn out, and a lot of and bleeding happens, and they are not able to go to doctors also seek for medical help. This is again in aggravating the physical problems, health problems. Often we see especially only in advanced stages people come for the medical treatment, because this is like any other thing, we cannot go, especially there is a lot of stigma associated, taboo associated. We can go until what, except these reproductive health, or for that matter we cannot go to a doctor. We can go, but there is a lot of stigma associated, and we are not readily approaching for these professionals or these experts in those specializations. Once something happens to our private parts due to these coerced sex, or for the for wild sex, or whatever the term, or the a kind of act, when something unwanted happens, when some bleeding happens, when there is a rupture of the skin, or when there is some damage happens, you cannot go and show, like somewhere you get rash when you fall from bicycle, or when you fall somewhere and there is a rash or there is a cut. You can go and readily show to doctor and say, this is what happened, and just give me some treatment, get it treated. But when your private parts are affected, or they get infected, or they get ruptured, or damaged, or for that matter strained, how you can imagine what kind of hesitation we show, and we don't even actively go and get it treated, or otherwise we engage by searching on internet, or by asking some people. We use some home remedies, or we use whatever is available on the internet, and again that will put, sometimes it gets cured, fortunately or luckily. It works, it turns to be working out in a safe way, and sometimes that aggravates the problem. And lot of issues, see, just one activity, there are different ways. Again, nowadays we see a lot of this masturbation also is happening, so that is some in somehow, in some way, that is also promoted instead of having actual sex. Why? Because to to satisfy the pleasures, or desires for that, so somehow to be in a very safe or sexual in a safe zone, not getting, because nowadays we are seeing a lot of videos, and being captured, footage captured while engaging in sexual activities, and that video is used for trapping these young girls and women, and in turn these drug mafia, especially when we see these lot of drug mafia, that is how people they are first got into relationships or friendships, and slowly they get them drugged, and they rape them, and they take videos of them. Or even we have a lot of drugs, especially pop culture, we have seen a lot of women and girls are being drugged, they themselves take, for being on high, to they need a lot of energy to dance and freak out and enjoy. How will one get that kind of energy? It's very difficult. for one person. So they take these drugs, these exotic drugs, and to get into high. And sometimes they even don't know what is happening with them. And there are certain drugs where you can be drugged, and for 24 hours you will be entirely unconscious and you don't even remember what has happened to you. There are many instances, reported as very few, but we have many times unreported incidents where women and girls are being raped when they are drugged, especially in pubs and other places, and they are being filmed and recorded, and they are used. Uh, Even one recent case also, it came to me, where the same thing happened. One of the girl, I cannot reveal due to confidentiality, but I can share that case study without revealing the credentials. One girl, which is of very reputed, families in the city, and she was very much used to this Western culture and regularly go to pubs and consume liquor, smoking. She's very from a traditional family. No one in the family till now had such a routine in the entire generation history of their family. But this girl got used to this. She studied in the elite, one of the top colleges in the city, and she got used to all this culture, this pub culture and all, and she started smoking, drinking, and slowly they got into this drug trap. They gave it as like, they never mentioned it as a drug, but they said this is energy booster, it will boost your energy. And she has been raped. No, she doesn't know she got raped unless and until she started. She stopped. The periods got stopped, and they were worried, and they went to doctor, and they found that she's pregnant. So she even doesn't know that she had an sexual activity, and she was, while going like entire day nights they were spending out. So they were in pubs and they were going together with the male counterparts, like all the group. They had a different set of groups, small, larger groups. They were moving together, girls and boys. It is not just her. There are many girls in that, boys and girls in that group, and everyone had that issue. But we don't know about other people what happened to them. But this case has come to us, and we have seen that she doesn't know that someone had sex with us, and how many people had also she don't know. Again, what has happened also she don't know, but she is now pregnant. Now how it has happened, she's totally unaware of what has happened to her, and who has done it, whether it is one person or many persons in that group. But it is sure that it is confirmed that from that group only they have done, and they have done it, this with many girls. In the investigation they found out that, and this is a routine affair for that entire group, and they don't feel even ashamed for doing that. And we should be aware of all these facts. Especially it is very important to educate our own sisters, or for our own female members in our own families and neighborhoods. So we have to bring awareness of all these things that are happening. It's not just like in movies you show, oh, go, engage in sexual activity and you are safe. And, a lot of things happen. That physical thing is different. But again, if someone films and just it gets viral on social media, many people have committed suicide. Recently, one entire family, because with no fault of girl, only just she thought that this is okay, entire this culture is okay, you know having sex is also okay, by taking precautions and everything. The entire family committed suicide because that they threatened that girl that if you don't have sex with other whoever they are getting, and they demanded them, if you don't have sex with that person, then we will release this video on the social media and pornography sites. Now what to do? Now she even tried unofficially with the department, and but nothing happened, because they are very influential, and they also become they are part of children of elite community, and they are also protecting their children, because their reputation at stake, their businesses are at stake. Once they get into media, and their business, their shares, a lot of things are impacted. So they are they are not worried about other person, they are in their self protection mode. And they because they are wealthy, and they can spend any kind of money, and they have influential, well, very influential. They know a lot of bureaucrats, they know a lot of ministers in their hand. And it is very difficult, even for that matter, to get an FIR filed itself is a very difficult matter. And there are many cases where we have seen legally also, very advocates also say, when such thing happens and they go report, they in turn put the prostitution case on the girl and put her behind the bars, and saying that she is not of good character, and she does this, and she is locked into prostitution, and she herself trapped this boy or a man. There are many cases we have seen, those who do not have a very strong background. They were, in fact, they are victims, but they are victimized, and they have been trapped, and they do not have any support. And now media also plays very take sides. When media also, because media professionals are also somewhere related here or there, and social media also not everything goes viral. Maybe one or two incidents are going viral, but because of the magnitude of content that is coming up, people will easily forget. If you see, just if you see 10 rape cases coming every day, and the 10 are going viral, and the people will forget the first one. And daily you see, if 10 cases are going viral, and even though that is a very big notorious case also, people will forget. That is only the greatest advantage and disadvantage is, that's why people try to create more and more content, so that people get diverted, and that topic or that issue will get underrated, or it will get dissolved. So that people create lot of, where there is no issue also, people try to create issue. And so that to divert the thing. So a lot of these things are happening. It is in reality. Now we can see lot of these things. And even in nowadays, schools are also become unsafe places. We get lot of counselors, because we train counselors, and a lot of psychologists, counselors, social workers come take training, and we also attend lot of trainings, and we take exchange ideas, and we do consult, and they do consult us. And we have seen now these young children are also engaging in sexual activities, especially in schools also. Schools have become especially unsafe, especially uh, you know those schools I should not mention, but those especially with these international schools, and kind of elite people, where elite children are studying, they are very much vulnerable. They have become very much vulnerable. And not only that, but even the small schools, or local schools also, because everywhere in media you see that is portrayed, and even serials you can see. There is no movie where you can't see a girl drinking or girl smoking. You can see every movie there is a girl or a boy who is drinking or smoking or having sex or having, advancing sexual activity without marriage, and without everything. And even it is portrayed in such a way, there is nothing wrong in engaging in sexual activity, and they don't have that kind of guilt feeling. They don't have that kind of you know um, regret. And they are portrayed in such a way to promote sexual activity, and they just move on like nothing has happened. and they keep on, if you closely observe, do research on these movies, what kind of culture they are promoting. It's a very wrong culture that is being promoted, that is putting, actually many women, especially girls, are very clever, but unfortunately they are getting into this propaganda, and they are also inviting it, but unfortunately it is making them more vulnerable. Unless and until it happens to you or us, we don't realize this is what happening. We are seeing these things, and when we do not, these, especially these women organizations, have to be very proactive, and definitely they need to have, they need to, protect themselves and their culture, and they have to keep safe. If a movie portrays, or if a serial portrays that a girl is or a is some extramarital affair or premarital affair or pre-sexual activity takes place, and they just walk in as nothing has happened, and that goes on and on, or sometimes today you see with one boy and girl, and tomorrow another boy and girl come together, and this girl with another boy, and that boy with another girl. What kind of and you don't see any guilt in those people, and the movies they portray like this is just common. Sleeping together, having sex together is common, like dining together. So you need to be very careful what kind of content you are promoting, what content of your content you are watching and endorsing, and that becomes a norm tomorrow. That is how culture is influenced. With lot of media plays a greater role in influencing the culture. This is how people fund, make advertisements to those only, and create lot of favorable attitudes and change opinions through media. They create such movies, and they create such serials, and lot of ads where they make us feel, or they make you feel that it's quite normal to have a sex with anyone for that matter. But in other words, that is called prostitution. Now prostitution has a different name as dating, mating, and whatnot. Just the same thing is happening. You are willingly also you are going, unwillingly also it is happening. Whether you with consent, without consent, all these things happen. But now that's why we need to redefine prostitution now. So what is prostitution actually? So how it was defined earlier, and how it is defined early now, and what kind of impact it is creating on our physical health, biological health, social health, and emotional health, mental health, for that matter, financial health, because again, it's a burden. If some STI or STD, you know, if you are infected with an STI or STD, there is a treatment involved. Or if you get infected with HIV, or if you are or if you are filmed in the process, and and it is being released on the pornography sites. Lot of videos, these videos though are not on social media, but are available on the darknet. Darknet, hope everyone knows about it. And darknet, lot of every video filmed is available in the darknet, and they don't know what they are doing. And pornography, there are crores and crores of pornographic websites where these immediately once there even also we came to know from one official that how this entire process, immediately after a video gets filmed, within 24 hours it reaches that network. Any video for that matter, once it is filmed, and that network sells this video to the dark web, and from that they distribute to entire pornography sites, and we don't know, because we don't have the practice of visiting, or we might not be aware of what are the, and what where they are, or what kind of address they have. But there are people who are addicted to them, and they are regularly watching, and they might have already seen those videos which we might have been engaged in sex, and they might someone has filmed it, or maybe they are watching, entire world is watching in the dark web. Who knows it? So these are repercussions of engaging in such acts. But are we really aware? When we are allowing someone to film with our consent or without our consent, and what actually is happening? And there are a lot of mobiles that is lost, that are stolen, and they contain such videos and such photographs. And even in social media, WhatsApp, a lot of people are sharing nude videos by taking to boyfriends, or to uh, girlfriends, uh, and these videos are being circulated, and there is no, and once it goes into the public, then there is no guarantee that it will remain private. So we need to be very careful. We need to be aware of all these aspects of sexual behaviors, or sexual activities. Otherwise, just by not having proper knowledge and getting into trouble and inviting troubles, and tomorrow you will be in a position where you cannot do anything, and either you have to accept it, or if you are not able to accept it, then you will commit suicide, or you will look for various other opportunities. So this is very important. See how many issues are there around this. We are just looking at a word or a concept of sex, but see, lot of problems, physical problems are there, that we are getting physically hurt, and due to sexual activity there are lot of bodily changes that are happening, and psychologically we have a lot of emotions, feelings that is happening, and stigma, and guilt, or for that matter pleasure. All these, emotionally we are getting affected, mentally we are getting affected, and socially also, what people will think about us, if people come to know about it, or if someone saw about it and someone knows about it, what would be the reaction of from the society, from the public, and that inferiority complex or superiority complex, or lot of things that are we are socially also getting affected, and also spiritually also. If we have guilt feeling that I had sex without marriage, and that is illegal, that is unacceptable, unethical, immoral, uh, and I couldn't have done. Now God will not forgive me, and I have done such a heinous act. And the spiritual life is also affected because you committed a sin. See, these are different aspects, dimensions of engaging in the one act. So we have to be very careful. We need to understand a multi-dimensional effect of this sex, or engaging in a sexual activity. So that's why sex education is not important. Some people do not have even a proper understanding of what sex education is. Sex education, they think that it is about teaching how to engage in sex. No, definitely not. Sex education is to make one understand what is sex, and what are best safe practices of sex, and what is the right kind of age, right kind of maturity, right kind of situations, right kind of persons, where what kind of behaviors are accepted, what kind of behaviors are not accepted, and what are alternative ways of satisfying your pleasures, sexual pleasures. And what are the consequences, and what are different safe sexual practices available if you are getting an impulse and you are not able to control, and what are different kinds of implications there are. By knowing it, you will be very aware. You can control the different kind of what we can say, different kind of implications or after effects. When you are aware, see, if I know that if I recklessly walk on the road and some vehicle hits me, then if I know I can broke my bones, or for that matter I can be bedridden, I will be more careful. I will be alert, I will be watching, I will be only taking this sideways, or I will over bridge, or where I can cross the road, or I will be very conscious, because I am aware that if I met with an accident, and anything can happen me, and it can make me bedridden for a short time to a longer time. So I have to be very careful. In a similar way, sex education will also provide awareness and will help us to take decision. Okay, if I engage in such an activity, then what I will do, I will, I will be very careful. I will be very conscious. I have a different way to, gratify my desires. I will be in a, I will be in a very informed, in a better position to decide whether to engage in sex or not, whether to have such a sexual behavior or not. And if at all I have to engage, then what are different options I have, and how safe it is, how secure it is. And, even if it is happening, then whether that situation, that person is, or that, a place is safe for that activity or not. Lot of things has to be thought of. So all these aspects are very important. It's not that, if we don't talk about all these things, about all these aspects that are affecting, then people will not know. And they think that what is there in that, we are just having pleasure for 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 5 minutes. That's all. Nothing will happen. What is going to be? And it is projected in such a way that more and more people are getting in this trap. And they will also, they persuade you in such a way that they say that nothing is going to happen. It's just like a normal thing. There is nothing that is going to happen, and there is no impact on anything of your life. But you can see a lot of issues are there, lot of things are there. And after that, they don't even respond to you. They don't even reply to you. They don't even, once their desires are met, when they are satisfied, and that's all. Now you are left to your own fate. You are left to your, and these courts, cases, complaints, all, uh, uh, that will go on and on. We don't know. Law in reality is not equal for all, though we preach it. But for the influential person, law is different. For common man, law is different. From those who have high status, law is different. Though we can say in rare cases, only thing, the conviction rate is very low. So you can't say that something wrong happens and you will get justice. Justice delayed is also justice denied. And that is widely happening. 99% of the thing is justice denied to be delayed. Sorry, justice is delayed to be denied only. Because justice is very important to be delivered in time. If they don't get in time, after death, if they deliver justice, what will happen? Or after, you see, it has to be, there should be a definite time frame where the victim has to be compensated, or a victim should be uh, given justice. Otherwise, you take years and years together, you make victim itself victimized, more victimized. And sometimes, so this is not so easy. The things are not so easy as we see in movies, or as we see in that. So we have to be, once something happens, only God knows, and only that person knows what kind of pain and efforts one has to go through. It's not that easy. How many, and today we all have become so much selfish and self-centered, we don't even bother for others. And in that context, expecting someone to be in your support all the time, that is very difficult, because they have their own families, they have their own priorities, and they cannot be with you always. I mean, along the victim and fighting for the, because they will be also exposed, and they will be trolled, and they will be also abused and whatnot. Now the world is also not so safe as we project it. And you can, why we are saying that? Because we are seeing that people are not being appreciated, unless and until you have some purpose, or you have some something to be benefited. We are not praising someone, we are not having friendships with someone. Only if we think, okay, that person is something worth, then only we are having a friendship or a relationship, or association with them. Otherwise, if you think that that person is of no use, then we don't even talk, we delete their contacts, we block them, and we don't even bother them. This is a kind of world where we are living, and especially with these topics and these sensitive topics, and when something happens, and it is how difficult it is to face this. So these are various that's why it is a very multidimensional aspect. It has multidimensional impact on our health, well-being, and also various aspects. So that is why sex education is very important, and sexual health and reproductive health is very important, uh, especially in maintaining relationships and as well as for sexual hygiene. So Sexual Health Week in Western context was born out of the belief that everyone desires a great sex life and no one should be criticized for it. And sexual health and well-being information should be widely accessible. And they consider that everyone has the opportunity to make educated decisions, informed decisions about their bodies and know their alternatives. Basic, motto for this is, okay, you are taking a decision to have sex or not, that is your entirely your decision, but you are taking an informed decision, all the consequences of that, because every decision has a consequence. So when I am taking decision, or when you are taking decision, when we are taking decision, we are not free from the consequence. You can take any decision, whatever you want, or whatever I feel I can take decision, but consequences are not in our hands. Once decision taken, they can have any kind of consequence. So we should be aware of what could be the probable consequences and what kind of impact that consequence is going to create on me, whether that is required, whether that is necessary for me. Then if I think, okay, that is worth taking, I will go for it. If I know that is not worth taking and it is not at all required for me, then what I will do, I will try to avoid it. It is unnecessary for me. So this will help, this sex education will help us to take educated decisions, informed decisions, and conscious decisions, and also various alternatives available. So with this, the goal of the goal of Sexual Health Week is a targeted health promotion event addressing topics related to sexual health and relationships, and will be held to raise awareness about how training support are available and as how they can assist in the formulation of policies. And consent, it's because we were talking about this consent also when engaging sexual activity or sexual behaviors. To consent is to participate in any intimate sex action requires consent. Regardless of age, any sexual contact lacking consent is unlawful. And consent to sexual activity is 16, 16 years aged male or female can give their consent in UK. And any sexual activity involving two people must have both parties consent. And this includes both genders, including straight, gay, lesbian, bisexual, or whatever it is, LGBTQI, including males and females. And why we have seen sexual health is crucial for pleasant sex life and protection from STDs and choice of how and when to procreate or avoid pregnancy. And being sexual healthy includes avoiding unplanned pregnancy and STDs, HIV, and all related infections and diseases. And discover stuff about yourself that you don't know before through various such events and discussions, deliberations, and learn about your sexual health and wellness so that you are updated with the information. And don't be afraid to engage in conversation, break the taboo stigma, and talk with people and educate them. And you also educate yourself in the process and encourage people to have an open and positive talks about sexual health and wellness. Attend activities that provide you with the resources and confidence that you require to provide exciting and inclusive sex education. And it could be a webinar or a seminar or a conference or a training or anything, as long as you are learning. And in terms of sexual health, well-being is more important than the absence of sickness. And respect safety, freedom, privacy, confidentiality from prejudice and abuse of all important aspects of sexual health. And the fulfillment of certain human rights is necessary for preservations of one's sexual health. And it lasts for a lifetime, the after effects or the consequences. So sexual health is an important throughout a person's lifetime, not only for those who are in reproductive years, but also for those who are younger or older. And sexual health can be manifested in a variety of ways, as we discussed, including through various sexualities and modes of sexual expression, behavior, and a lot more. And Sexual Health Week teaches about consent. People who are aware of positive sexual health and more likely to have consensual sex when they have first or when they have this first sex, or other recursions of such behaviors. And it reduces unplanned pregnancies and STIs, because you are aware of what sex can cause, and also use various contraception methods available using condoms and other pills and other contraceptive methods. This reduces rate of unplanned pregnancies and teenage pregnancies, and you know um, unmarried or pregnancies and all lot of things. And during this week, make sure you explore about sexual health. Sexual health is very important for our bodies and minds. It can help us not to rush into having sex if we don't feel ready, no matter what the pressure extent. Otherwise, you think you get into this saying that, oh, it's only just sex. What's great in that? And after that, you will realize what you have done and what is happening with you or with your body or with your mind. And later, it is better. Prevention is better than cure. So having knowledge of all these aspects are very much important for that matter. And it is very important to become aware so that we can take informed decisions. Okay, so we shall conclude the topic with that, and there are other commemorations. We'll quickly look at there. Today is also Positive Thinking Day. So we always have to be, positive, optimistic, uh, and productive, constructive. Being negative, destructive, will not lead us anywhere. So we have to be optimistic. Of course, life is very uncertain, sometimes certain, and for few, it may be uncertain. For some, it may be very certain. But life is life. It has to be accepted as it comes to us. And life goes on. We have only death is once, but we live every moment, every second, every hour, every day, every week, every month. So we have to be very positive, optimistic, and we need to go ahead with that. So this commemoration is to highlight the rewards of positive thinking. Positive Thinking Day is all about thinking positive thoughts. It's easy to be pessimistic or cynical about things, which is not entirely bad, but it prepares you for the worst, not for the best. However, too much negativity can have an adverse impact on our emotional health. Research says that you can prolong your life with happiness and optimism. So, on Positive Thinking Day and other days too, train yourself to see the bright side in every situation and keep a positive attitude. We can always say about negative about ourselves or other persons or situations, but what is the use of criticizing or having negative feelings, thoughts, perceptions, or perspectives towards ourselves and toward others? It only makes things worse. And we feel bad, we feel low, we feel the full is we are negative, and our full world our entire world looks to be very negative, very destructive, and very pessimistic and very cynic. So these all, that's why it is very important to be ourselves very positive, so that the entire world looks positive, optimistic. So it all starts with us. If we think everything in a negative way, the entire world and things will also tend to happen in a negative way. If we take it positively and optimistically and productively, constructively, the world around will also look similar. At least you have that kind of perception towards that. Of course, negative things keep happening. There is some things are in our hands and some things are beyond our control. But how we react to them is very important. If we react in a negative way, then definitely we are going to spoil our mood and thoughts, and definitely we are going to, have a negative impact on the other person or other, you know, counterpart also. So that can have a different consequence altogether. So that's why positive thinking reaps a lot of benefits. So studies also show that positive thinking is not just good for our emotional well-being, but also for our uh, mental health well-being, and it has the power to reduce risk of heart diseases. A lot of emotions, negative emotions and feelings cause lot of health issues also. So by being positive, optimistic, constructive, productive, we can also get rid of and reduce the risk of diseases and illness, stress. So we can reduce the risk of heart diseases, elevate stress and anxiety. Studies have also shown that positive thinking can increase a person's lifespan. So the more happy, the more satisfied, the more contented you are, you enjoy your life every moment, and you just want to live more. And your lifespan also increases because you are very happy, healthy, satisfied, and keeping them healthy for a longer period. And in fact, positive thinking is also crucial to your body, that it can help immunity. You can see a lot of negativity, pessimism, the guilt, jealousy, all will reduce your immunity. That will affect your immunity and resistance towards illness and diseases. So that is also very important. Remove hatred, jealousy from us, and we always inculcate the positive things. Be compassionate, empathetic. The more compassionate you are, the more empathetic you are, the better your well-being, the more the immunity you have. You can just practice it and observe among within yourself. You just 1 week or one day you practice it. You don't allow any. Of course, you cannot stop negative things or pessimistic thinking and all those things, but you try to be positive, productive, constructive one whole day. You just start with 1 minute and then try to extend with few couple of minutes, and then hour, and then you see couple of hours, and you see day and week, and like that you just experiment yourself, and you will definitely come up with a very good feedback to me, or for that matter to anyone. So that much effect positive thinking can help, and you start appreciating yourself, and you start appreciating everyone around you, and there is a positive vibes. There is a kind of supportive environment, so that everyone feels good. You feel good about yourself, and you feel good about others and environment, and they also feel good about themselves, and you entire environment will change automatically. So there are several different techniques and approaches that you can use to try and be more of a positive thinker. One of the best ways to start thinking positively is by catching your thoughts and reframing them. If you find yourself having a negative reaction to a situation, try to change your perspective. See, we always try to think from our side only. We don't try to think from other person's side. See, when other person is not able to perform, person is not able to fulfill their commitment, we always talk negatively. See, that person is irresponsible. He doesn't have any accountability, doesn't have any worth. He's not genuine. He or she is not genuine. she doesn't have a discipline, he or she doesn't have a discipline, commitment, or lack of common sense. We start the moment, someone, he or she doesn't, turn up, or doesn't, show off, or doesn't show up, or doesn't, do what is, then we start negatively. We just burst ourselves in hatred, jealousy, all this kind of thing. But that is in turn going to spoil our mood and our feelings and all these things. So instead, just think what could have happened. See, like in our own family members, we can see how a mother thinks, how a father thinks about his own children. They never think negative. When he is not able to, when his child is somewhere, or she or he keeps praying for her well-being, or his or her well-being, she or he always thinks positive only. But why that is not happening with others? you know when it is ourselves or our people or our family, we talk always positive, great about us, and we always try to support them. When it comes to other person, we try to blame them, we try to target them, we try to you know counter them, we try to isolate them. And we not what not we are like, something, we got it, a wonderful opportunity or a great lifetime achievement where we can thrash that person to, to down to earth, or so these all should be avoided. This is going to impact us only at the end of the day. So all this should be prevented, and this can be prevented only by having a positive attitude, empathy. Okay, if that person has not turned out, or not able to help, or not able to extend support, there might be something that is preventing me. So we should think in a positive way and find out. Don't assume. Don't assume without getting clarified, and don't be in a everything is decided and closed mind. Don't communicate with a closed mind. Often that leads to further misunderstanding. Be open minded, and with open heart, find out what has happened actually. And if it has been done wantedly also, deliberately also, okay, try to understand that yes, this might not be his or her priority. So okay, accept that and move on. At least we know that next time we should not ask this activity, this task. We should not give this task or assignment to that person, or his or her, to him or her. So at least we'll know these things. But just being assuming everything, that I know everything, he's like that, she is like that, you are only at loss, because you don't know that you are far away from reality. You think whatever you know is reality, and whatever you think is the reality. And often that misunderstanding goes on and on. And ultimately, when we know the truth and when we know reality, we are only ending up ourselves as fools and stupids. Now we will laugh at ourselves, how foolish we are, how stupid we are. We were till now assuming that something else is there, and this is what, but actual reality is this. And in this process, you may lose their companionship, their friendship, or their relationship, or for the matter, you may lose the benefits also. Sometimes, we lose our best friends, our best, best acquaintance with this misunderstanding. So who is at loss? We are only at loss. So that's why we have to be very positive, optimistic, and we need to just go. Okay, we everyone has certain limitations, and there are things that are happening beyond our control. So we need to understand. We need to be compassionate, empathetic towards them, understand them. It's okay. Don't take everything so seriously. Don't take everything to heart. No hard feelings uh, towards anything or any person. Try to understand. It's okay, be it in a easy way. Okay, if it doesn't happen, the sky is not going to come down and earth is not going to go up now. What will happen? Nothing will happen. So unless and until that world turns upside down. So there is nothing that needs to be taken so seriously, and have some patience. Everything takes time. And we are sometimes in a hurry that we want it right now, otherwise we don't want it right now. Even we see, I can relate even with our platform also. Many times say, if you want, you give certificate now, otherwise I don't need any certificate, I will go. Who is a loser now? You have put so much efforts, and if you just come into impulsivity, and if you yourself go off, then who is going to be the loser? And in similar way, like we fight with people, we go to someone, a closest friend, and say, no, if you do this favor only, if you give money only, if you support me only, I will be your friend. Otherwise, today only, no relationship, break up. You are no more my friend. You are no more my girlfriend. You are no more my boyfriend, or you are no more my colleague, or you like you we fight with them and come them. Then who is the loser? Then ultimately we are the ones who are going to lose him or her, because of small silly things. Or maybe that may be very important. See, recently we have celebrated suicide prevention week, and I mean, this entire month is suicide prevention month, and coming Sunday also we are having some topics related to suicide. See, there are many suicide cases that are committed by children also, that their mom or dad did not buy them from chocolate, and many girlfriends or boyfriends for that matter, they did not, give them gift, or even for that matter, wife committed suicide or husband committed suicide because wife is not fulfilling their needs, or they asked something to buy and they did not buy it, and they said they will buy some other day or something like that, and they got into impulsivity, that strong emotional cycle, and they just couldn't bear it, and they committed suicide, or either they killed the counterpart, I mean the spouse, or they broke up their relationship or the marriage. A lot of things happen in this impulsivity. So it is very important to be very positive, very optimistic, and be understand things will take time. You need to understand that by going impulsive, by going in the panic mode, or by going into active attack mode or fight mode, nothing is going to happen. See, if you think that you are great, the other person will also think he is also great in himself or herself, and that ego clash will come. And if you are not coming down, then that person will also not come down, and that will go on and on. And where it will end, they both will end up destroying yourselves and destroying each other. So we should be very careful, have patience. Sometimes, this kind of saying, we have right place, right time, right person, right thing. So many permutations and combinations are there. Even at times when you are doing right thing at a wrong place with a wrong person, that will not give you fruitful results, and that can land you in troubles. So there are different combinations and permutations also. Sometimes we do right things only, but we do with the wrong people, or we do at the wrong time, or we do at the wrong context or situation. That's why we face some backstab, or or we are not supported, or we are not appreciated, because that is not the right time to do, or a right place to do, or right person. So often we end up these dilemmas, and we take because our understanding is limited, and we don't know really how people react, or behave, or respond. So these things will complicate the situations, or because of this uncertainty of behavior or response or reaction. Sometimes even if you are trying to do good, the kind of people, if other people is not able to understand, or is had decided to misunderstand, no matter what you say, he will misunderstand, or he or she will never understand you. She or he has already misunderstood you, and has fixed that in the mind, that you are a bad person, or you are not person worthy to be associated. Then there is nothing you can do. See, for everything you need to give some time. People say na time heals. Time doesn't heal really, actually, But in that time we get subsided, we get used to it, and we get adapt to it. In that sense, time heals. In the process, our strong emotions, feelings, they will come down, and we will get off that impulsivity. And we will, when we are in hatred, when we are with strong emotions, our intellect process will come down. The decision making comes down, and that's why we are not at that optimum level, and we tend to take inclined decisions or skewed decisions, or decisions which are not appropriate, or wrong decisions. We end up taking up inappropriate or wrong decisions. That's why we have to calm down ourselves, relax, calm down for some time. If something is not working out, don't go in a fight mode, or and just be back of it. Just relax, take your time. It's okay, fine. If not working, just simply calm down. And you also tell to that person, not get into you know no need of continuing the drama or everything. You can just you can say, we will talk about this later, and you can just keep calm. Otherwise, if you go on means, things will go worse on. Nothing will happen. We have seen many such cases. Even on this platform also, I have seen many people who just get into impulsive mode, and lose themselves. Don't know who is going to lose. Anyway, we are going to continue, because we have said, we have taken a decision to bring awareness. We will continue to bring awareness for next 1 year also. So we are not going to go back. So whoever comes, joins, they are getting the knowledge, or they are getting their certificates. Whoever follows instructions, they are getting certificate. So ultimately they are coming and benefiting. For us, if 1% join, 1,000% join, doesn't make any major difference for us, because our aim is to create awareness. And the more people we are able to create, the more the outcome will be. Otherwise also fine. 1%, our minimum target is 1% per day. So 1% that is achieved, so our target is met, and we are satisfied. Okay, at least today I am able to bring some awareness to 1%. That is more than enough. So we are satisfied, we are self-contented. So we are always positive, constructive, and we are satisfied. We are able to go to sleep happily. But if other person comes and fights, and for all the wrong reasons or all the right reasons, now who is going to at loss? If you do attend, if you complete all the formalities, then you will only gain knowledge and get certificate. If you think today I did not get certificate, I will not attend from tomorrow, then who is at loss? You are neither getting more certificates, you are neither gaining more knowledge. So who is at loss? So we should think, in a very positive, constructive way. Okay, see, it is not that today you don't get certificate, then you will not get it forever. Na? At least after 1 year also, after 1 week, or after 1 month, or at least after 1 year also, you are going to get it. It will be there on the website. Why you need to take so much, get so much, anxious, and so much impulse that I need certificate right now. Otherwise, I am not going to attend. Otherwise, I am not going to. Why such strong emotion? Why such strong impulsivity? Why? What you are going to do with that? Is that if you get certificate today and tomorrow it will get expired, or tomorrow it doesn't have any value? It's nothing like that. So why getting so much, putting so much pressure on that? By that, what you are doing finally, you are putting yourself into vulnerability. You are putting yourself into risk, and you are foregoing the benefits of that. So whatever decision we are taking, we have to be very positive. Okay, today I don't get, it is not just related to certificate. We want something today. We want promotion. We want someone to appreciate. We want some increment at office, or we want appreciation at home. If they don't give it, don't worry. If you say that I will not cook today unless and until you appreciate me, unless and until you buy some gift for me, unless and until you, you know, praise me, what will happen? Entire family members have to starve. Otherwise, they have to go outside and buy food, and we don't know whether it is safe or whether it is hygiene. And what if unfortunately that happens to be a contaminated food or an unhygienic book, and everyone gets ill? Now, who is the one who again have to go? Again, we need to go to hospital. A lot of again expenses, medical expenses, and lot of efforts required. Again, ultimately, you are only going to take care of all the family members, and lot of physical efforts, financial efforts, and emotional efforts, and this turmoil that all family members have fallen skip, and there is a lot of regret, remorse that you will think that see, because of my lack of proper decision, if I could have cooked food on that day or on that time, I could have entire avoided all this nonsense, or which is completely avoidable, preventable. So what will happen today? Try it tomorrow or try it other day. Someday you will get it. Why so getting so emotional, so impatient, and so impulsive that you read it now? Now people are, now as a parents, we should be very careful. It's not that we can afford or we cannot afford is not the point here. To teach them patience to our children is very important. Tomorrow, because the same behavior will reflect even outside also, they will go, and similarly they demand with others also. You give us immediately, otherwise no. That this is how a lot of these acid attacks happen, and other rapes are committed, because they are very much impulsive. They want it right now. They want sexual favors right now at that moment. Otherwise, you, whether you give with your consent or without consent, I will rape you. This is kind of attitude. When we don't teach them patience, they will do it in every act. It's not only just sexual act, or it can be also any. The people get into conflicts, fights, and also in antisocial behavior matter. They will also get into a lot of crime, or lot of violence. Why? Because that impulsivity. Lot of crimes are committed due to impulse only. We see a lot of criminals who are accused and who are sentenced. In their impulsivity, they couldn't control their emotions or feelings, and they just take whatever it is and stab them to death, or try to attack them, or injure them, or and they when the moment they realize that act has been committed, and there is nothing that can be undone. You have killed that person cannot come alive now. Or you have just chopped off one of the organ of his body, hands or legs, or you have abused her, or him or her. But whatever happens, it happened. You cannot again get it back. You cannot undo it. That is why it is very important. No matter how much educated we are, or how many degrees we have, or how much experience we have, if we don't have this common sense that we need to have patience, we need to be empathetic, and we need to, okay, now if you don't get it now, no problem, we'll wait for some time. You need to wait as long as you know that today or tomorrow it is going to happen. There is a assurance now, that okay, if not today, tomorrow also you will get it, or day after tomorrow also it. Where you will go? Say, suppose take the example of certificate. We are not going to go anywhere. It is there. It is going to be there for another 1 year. Not today, tomorrow you will get. Other not this month, next month you will get. What's going to be run? You can get it anytime. So nothing to worry. Similarly, if there is something that you are expecting from your family, if not today, tomorrow you'll get next week, next month, or next year, where the family is going to live forever. So you need not worry about all these things, and you need not get too attached, or too emotional, too impulsive, too impatient with all these happenings. Otherwise, who is going to be at loss? We ourselves are losing them. We ourselves are destroying ourselves, our peace of mind, our opportunities of further development, further earning, further livelihood, further knowledge. So we have to be very, be realistic. We have to understand in a very objective manner, not subjective manner. That's why don't go with your feelings or emotions at that moment. You try to understand. See, no one wants to be, project themselves to be in a bad this thing, and no one wantedly wants to be look bad or behave in a bad manner, unless and until that environment he is born and brought up. We should understand, maybe they might be in a situation where they are not able to deliver, or at times when we don't have ourselves, when we are not able to give time, then why see, this is also one important very important aspect. When we are not giving time to ourselves, when we are not giving importance to ourselves, why other people will give you? When you don't have time to to take up task, why other person will do it for you? So when you are supposed to do something, when you are supposed to complete the formalities, or when you are supposed to do certain things, when you are not doing, how can you expect other person will do? Say, suppose, because I am taking this platform because we are all very much related to certain topics, na? So it is easy to correlate. Other aspects may be something, some aspects may be relevant, may not be relevant, so we may not be able to correlate. That's why I'm taking some similar topics which we are all almost experiencing. Say, suppose if there are some formalities to be met for registration, you need to register, and then you need to provide, if you are a speaker, then you need to provide your details, because we need to prepare a flyer. So for that we need photograph and name designation, because your profile, when you send your profile, there is lot of things, 100 things in that profile. So once we prepare profile, this flyer, you say, no sir, I want this thing to be added, I want this thing to be removed, all this. Why? See, in the very first place, if you send what you want to be displayed, that prevents lot of wastage of time and resources. When you don't have time and you just simply send one profile, you take from that, and then that is your responsibility and accountability, and you have to accept for that, because in the very first place, you have not taken time for yourself. Because you, if you have followed the instructions and you have provided information what is required, because you know that whatever information is being asked in email or WhatsApp, that is going to be on the flyer. So is not your responsibility to take out what you want on the flyer, to take out, and based on the space and the number of words or number of characters that can fit into that flyer space, because you can see a lot of previous flyers are there. Every information what we are taking, it is going onto the flyer and it is put on the website. So there is no other use for that information except for the flyers and for the verification part. That. So you need to understand that. We all need to understand that what information is required and what is the purpose for which that information is required, and we need to take time. You can't expect, first of all, you don't do your duty, you don't fulfill your responsibility, and you recklessly, negligently, you send all this, and you dump something garbage on that, and you assume that, you think that, and you expect some other person to do it for you. And why that person will do it for you? When you don't give importance to yourself, why that person will give you? And again, you tomorrow come and fight with us, and whose responsibility is that? You yourself are very negligent, you yourself are very irresponsible, and you don't even take your accountability for your act, and why other person will take? That shows your negligence, that shows your irresponsibility, that shows your own importance. You are not giving importance to yourself, and you are expecting other to give importance to you. How that will happen? This is basic common sense that we all need to have. So similarly, when we are expecting something from someone, we need to do our responsibility. When we are at home, we have certain responsibility as a father, as a mother, as a brother, as a sister, or as a husband, as a wife. We need to fulfill them. Without fulfilling our duties, we expect something or some person or some situation to everything people will understand without doing. And that's why we get into a wrong thing, start blaming people for no reason. If you have followed all the procedures and you have followed instructions, and you when you have told, when it is clearly mentioned that it is for the flyer you are giving all the details. And after preparing flyer, and again you are asking that to remove, this to add. See how much time you are wasting. You don't value your time, that is fine, but you are not valuing the time of other person. You are not valuing the time of resources of other person. And how will that person can appreciate? What will that person think? Say, if you are in same, that person, you are in that person place, position, you think how you will think, see how irresponsible that person is. When we have asked that, can he or she not spend 1 minute or few minutes and give what is required? This is how we misunderstand. This is how we lose respect on each other. So we think that, oh, they cannot do this also. And same, that a person also thinks this fellow doesn't even have common sense to send this properly. And he is holding so many degrees, so many doctorates. But what is the use? Lacking common sense, not able to understand simple instruction. Even I will think same way, and you will also think same way. So finally, what will happen? Nothing is productive, nothing is constructive, nothing is, optimistic here. So we will lose our opportunities. I will also think we should not call this fellow next time, or we should not invite this fellow next time. And, you will also think we should not go onto this platform, or we should not take this opportunity next time. So ultimately, both are losing. So this is what happens, when we are not positive, when we are not productive, when we are not constructive, when we are not realistic, and we start blaming others, when we don't take responsibility, everything we are responsible. See, if something has gone wrong, that is when we think that, yes, we are responsible, it is our irresponsibility, it is our negligence, we could have informed them. We did not, maybe we have assumed that everything goes in that way. See, many things happen. See, we have a lot of assumptions based on the society. So generally, what nowadays we are seeing that immediately by filling the feedback form, we'll get certificate. But that may not be the policy of every organization. There are many organizations who don't give immediately. They're like even government organizations are there. They don't. They also conduct webinars, like NIDM is conducting, and like NIRD is connecting, but they don't just simply give it like that. They just verify all those details, and then only they will give. It's not like that. So you should always think. You also know someone will eat grass. You will also eat grass, or what? No, na. So everyone has their own preferences, likings, rules, guidelines. So we need to follow. So you cannot just assume and think that I have assumed that you will do it for me and you have not done. Did you ask with them? Did you confirm with them? And did you see the time frame within which this is going to affect? Similar way, even in families or even at workplace, even at educational, at schools or colleges, we should be very realistic. We should communicate in a proper way. We should make sure that that person understands what we are intended to. That's why we ask, what did you understand? Did you get it right? What did you understand means whether the message I have to convey is whether I have conveyed in a proper way or not, whether the intended message has been conveyed in the intended manner or not, or whether it is conceived the same way which I have conceived or not. That is why feedback is very important, because through feedback only we will know whether that person has actually understood or misunderstood, whether that person has interpreted in a right manner or misinterpreted it. That's why these are very important for us. These experience and degrees, doctorates doesn't matter if you don't have a common sense. These all things value. No matter how many degrees you have, no matter how many years of experience one may be having, but if we lack this common sense, then all these things will go in vain. We will not have respect. People will not respect us, and we will not be respected. And maybe in front of you, because as long as you are beneficial for them, they will praise you. They will all do this buttering. All this thing will happen, and once you are no longer useful, they will all they will try to abuse you, and all these things will happen. So why this entire thing is happening is because we are not positive, not productive, not constructive. We are not empathetic. We are not compassionate, and we are judging people. We are impulsive. We are getting impulsive and trying to blame others. We are trying to just shift our responsibility to others and trying to blame them. We are not taking responsibility our own self. We are not giving importance to our own self, and we want people to do for us. Why they will do when you yourself are not doing for yourself? Why someone will come and do it for you? Because they have their own priorities. And don't expect that because someone is doing some things that because he wants or she wants, so she will do it for. It may not be always. Sometimes may they do, they might not do. That is where we get into the trap. When someone does now, we think, okay, they will only do. So why we need to put? They will do, and that you should accept it again. You should accept the similar way. We can see if we prepare some dish or some savories in our home. See, not everyone will like. The spouse will like it or not. Our daughters will like it or not. Our sons will see. One son, if son might like it, daughter might like it, or spouse may not like it. See, within our own family, we are not able to meet, satisfy everyone. And how we can assume that we can satisfy everyone in this world? So there will be definitely differences. We need to accept those differences, and we need to appreciate those differences and similarities, and we should get along. Differentiating or discriminating is very easy. You can blame anyone for that matter. But getting along, collaborating, cooperating, and adjusting, adapting is very difficult. Understanding is very difficult. Judging is very easy. We can easily judge that person is bad, that person is worse, that person is, unprofessional. You can say whatever you want. Words are free to spit in on anyone. But understanding is very, very difficult. Open mind is very, very difficult. That's why this positive thinking is very important. Positive thinking, optimistic thinking, constructive thinking, productive thinking will always change. It will, you just practice yourself and you'll see whole lot of change in yourself. The way you respond to people, the way you react to people. You can see happily at the end of the day, you can sleep happily, and we call it as purpose of life, sense of life. All this can be achieved only if you are positive, productive, constructive. So there are several different techniques and approaches that you can use to try and be of more positive thinker. One of the best ways is to start thinking positively is by catching your thoughts and reframing them. Definitely negative thoughts, we cannot stop negative thoughts. Only thing is whatever thought it come, let it be positive, negative. We have to reframe in a positive manner. We have to reframe them in a constructive manner. We have to reframe them in a productive manner, and we have to carry on that. So that is our responsibility. Thoughts will come and go like a passing clouds, but how we are responding to them, how we are reacting them is more important. And reacting and responding, not reacting, but responding them in a positive, constructive, optimistic manner is more important. So try to identify the reasons why you feel negative or negatively towards the situation. And if you can, try to pick up the positive outcomes of the same situation. When you are feeling negative, or when you are towards a situation, towards a person, towards an activity, first try to identify what are the reasons why this has happened in the very first place, what made to this happen, and what was my contribution to that. Because whether I could have done something which I could have prevented this in the very first place. So when you think about all these things, then you will understand the situation, and you will try to make definitely some outcome. See, I will again go back to this platform only. For example, see, at the end of the day, whether you get certificate or not, you are gaining a lot of knowledge. So even at the end of the day, if you are unable to fill the feedback form, or if you are unable to get the certificate, what is the best outcome that you have taken from this session? Is gaining knowledge. That is more important. So though there might be a negativity that you couldn't fill the feedback form or you didn't get the certificate, but the positive thing that has happened is you gained a lot of knowledge from this. So in that way, you can replicate this example to various other things. So when you expect something, when you say, suppose when we go to attend, give a guest lecture, or for that matter, take a topic or give a seminar or somewhere in the college or in university, for that matter, in community, we go there and we generally, generally I don't expect anything, but in general, people expect something. They want to be praised and media has to come, they have to take shirt or they put some shalva or give some memento or flowers or fruit, something. So we might have some expectations, but after going there, there might not be so much crowd there, or there might not be that much expecting audience there, or they might not receive in that manner. But we should not get a short temper and shout at them and spoil them and misbehave there, and that should not be done. Okay, you have to be calm, relaxed. Okay, whatever is there, that is still an opportunity. Whether they give you also, whether they commit something and after going that they say, sorry, we couldn't raise some funds, or we couldn't get so many participants, we could not raise the funds for that, we are not able to give, also fine, stay cool, don't get impulse, don't get impatient, because still that opportunity is there. Whatever best you can make it from that situation, you try to take and turn it to be a very positive. Okay, money is not important, you can earn money in different ways. See, instead of sitting 1-2 hours, as I already mentioned, if I take sessions, I can charge anywhere up to 1,000 rupees for 15 minutes. So for me, if money is only important, I will definitely not sit here and conduct waste, for that matter, spend so much time. So that itself says money is not important for me. I have different ways to earn money. And here, if I come, I ask, see, there are, if I want to deliver some session, I ask how much you are going to pay. Okay, if I pay you also, see what university is paying, some 350 rupees per hour or 750 rupees per hour. Similarly, I also pay some 1,000 rupees or 1,500 per hour. What is that you are going to gain? But I will say he or she is coming for money only. If we don't pay money, you will not come. That's all. You are coming here for only for the purpose of money only. But otherwise, that is why, we are very reluctant. Whether you come or not doesn't matter. You only come voluntarily. We are not going to pay you single pice. We are not going to take single pice from anyone. That is very clear. Only if you are genuinely interested, you are a person who want to make difference. If you are a person who want to really contribute to the society or nation, you join. Otherwise, we don't need people who just come and join for the sake of money. Because if we want money, then we will not do it this in very first place. Why we will waste so much amount? Because when we have alternate way, when we can use this money, time to make money, why we will sit here? And why we need to give you, why we need to be back of you and request you, come here, please come here, present it. Why we have to request you? In our place, to get my appointment, it will take 2 months for me. You are happily daily interacting with me. Just try to get my appointment outside this platform, then you will realize what is my worth, my value. It is not that easy. So when we are coming here, charity, we should leave everything, our degrees, our education, our status, everything we have to keep inside, lock it and come back here as a simple, humble person. Everyone is equal here. This is not a place to show arrogance, attitude, or our, everything we have to leave it. This is not a platform where everyone is equal. Even I am also working for this organization voluntarily. I am also contributing. I am not taking anything from here because I want to contribute to the society. I have joined and I am contributing. I don't get anything. I don't get name or I don't get any single paisa also. But I invest my money inside because this organization doesn't take any funds. How they will run? See, we have to pay for the Zoom, we have to pay for the system, we have to pay for the electricity, we have to pay for the office. Lot of things are there. We are paying, but who will give? No one give free rent, free building for running this office. No one will come work for free. When we are coming, we are contributing. Even we are not keeping any appointments. We are keeping ourselves. We are losing 2 hours, 3 hours, and we have put this for entirely that otherwise we could have earned thousands or hundreds of rupees. We are losing everything and coming here, joining us. We never felt that we are losing that, because we felt that this is an opportunity where we can contribute to the society. Because society has given us education, society has given us so much of recognition, society has given us education, profession, and that's why we thought, okay, let's within 24 hours I am just giving 2 hours. Entire 20 hours I am using for myself only, my family and my personal life, my professional life. What I am giving 1 hour, 30 minutes also, if you are not able to give to society, then how selfish we are. We have to think in such terms, positive terms, productive terms. Then only we will be able to, come up in a better way. Why people are able to do wonders, because they are able to think in a very positive, constructive way. It's not that just for the sake of 350, 750, or 1,000, 1,500, you come and join. You will always remain as a commercial person. You always remember in the minds of the people like a money-minded person. You can earn in a different way. Of course, there are very platforms where they get funds. They take huge money, collect huge money. There you can demand it. That's your right. You can say when you are taking money, you can give it because you are not spending from your own pockets. So that is most important. We need to understand where we are going and what we are asking. So sometimes we have to go. See, we run charity clinics, free clinics. We give free counseling, free medical treatment. There you should not go and demand how much you are giving. When you go to a corporate hospital, there you are providing services. There you can demand, okay, you give them this much, I will give consultation. I will give my appointment. Otherwise, I am not there. That is the right place where you can demand and get your amount. But if you go to a charity clinic and say, I will not see patient unless they pay, that is a wrong thing you are doing. That is where bad karma will catch you. And you will, that is where sins are committed. Because you should know where. This is why when we are talking about right person, right situation, right place, right act, this all depends on the common sense. That's why we are talking about all these aspects. It is very important to understand all these things. A holistic understanding is required, where we will understand our life and people around us, world around us, and we accordingly we have to behave. It's not that I have so many degrees, or I have so much experience, or you have so many degrees. So everywhere you go, you expect something, or everywhere you go, you expect everywhere to be paid. No, when it comes to charity or social cause, we need to invest our time, our money, our resources. It's sometimes, we need to put our money also at times, because when they are wanted, when they want to conduct, when there are some people, I also do, when they come, I want to do this, but I don't have money, little money also. See, sometimes it happens when then people are ready to willing to organize, they don't have even money to provide tea and snacks. So many times I have given, okay, I will come, I don't need anything. At least those people who are coming, at least serve them some tea and biscuits. I have given many times some 500,000 rupees. Whoever is coming, let's arrange at least tea and coffee for them. So sometimes we have to invest ourselves, though it is absolutely not required for me, but because people are coming, listening, because they are spending some time, I felt that personal, because if someone comes to my home, I will offer tea and biscuits, whatever, we are preparing, and whatever they can consume, whatever we have prepared. So definitely we will offer. That is our culture. Whoever comes to us, whatever we give or not, we give just at least one glass of water. So similarly, when we are going somewhere, we need to understand what kind of environment it is, what kind of infrastructure they have. If they are not able to provide by themselves, at least we should contribute to that, so that at least someone, because we are there, we are part of that event, and we should ensure that at least some kind of contribution also goes. So whenever I am called for in communities, especially, I said, okay, you take 500 or 1,000, you at least arrange, you tell some tea person to serve tea. That will not cost, 10 rupees, 15 rupees, one tea. Even 100 persons I serve, even also it will not cost 1,500. If 20, 30 people attend also, if the small cup cost 10 rupees also, 300 rupees more than, not more than that. Even at times, people, I said, I don't need anything also. People all said, we will give 1 hour session, 350 rupees. I said, I never took that money, 350, 750 or 100, 1,500. I told you, okay, you pay this. In turn, I call someone and distribute that. I just ask some question. I will say, okay, whoever answers it correctly, this is prize money for them. I distribute then and there itself and come back. I come back with empty hands. That is where I am away from this karma. So that's how we should be. Like, it's not like that, everywhere, wherever you go, you try to exploit the situation and try harvesting money. If we are in that mode, then we will be disappointed only, because there is no end for that expectation. You think that, yes, here I got 900, tomorrow I should get 1,000 rupees, and you go on increasing, and you set such a high expectation, and people will not call you. Oh, that person, he demands more, and oh, why instead of calling that person, we can call 10 persons, or all these things will come up later on. And see, why, you see, small thinking, where you lack empathy, compassion, it is leading to so many problems in future. So that's why we have to be very positive, optimistic, constructive, and try to catch thoughts, whatever is coming, whether it is negative, positive. If it is positive, fine. If it is negative, reframe them, make it positive, make it constructive, more, make it productive, and try to respond situation. Reaction, response is different. Respond is responding to it. Reacting is trying to blame, trying to criticize others. So never try to react. Always respond. Respond. Okay, something is there. Okay, I will get back to you, or let me, give me some time, so that, or let me rethink over it, or let me relook over it, or just give me some time, or maybe at this point of time I cannot do, but I will definitely work on it, or give me some time. Say in a pleasant manner, where you are not offending that person, where you are not blaming that person, where you are not criticizing the other person or situation. So try your perspective, and try others person perspective also. Try to identify the reasons why you feel negative, or very critical about that situation or person or event, and try to pick the positive outcomes and benefits that have uh, uh, come out, outcomes of that same person, situation, or circumstance. And talking to a friend who is going through something similar, or simply thinking out loud, can help you find the positive in any situation. And remember, the positives don't have to be huge, monumental wins, grandiosity. Just simple, small wins that uplift and encourage you. Like I said, okay, even if you don't get anything also, at least you will have that satisfaction. At least 10 people I am able to share my information. That is more than enough. If you don't get anything also, you have that satisfaction. Okay, today, like small things also, you should be able to recognize and appreciate, so that you will appreciate yourself. Otherwise you think, see, I have wasted my entire time going there, coming there. I didn't get anything. They did not give me anything. So entire day you will spoil. You will be surrounded with that negative thoughts, and you will not appreciate yourself. You have done wonderful job of going there and delivering the lecture, and you are not appreciating your own self, your own efforts, and you are in that critic, and you are blaming yourself. You are blaming them, and you are blaming everyone. Your entire negativity surrounds you, and you become a negative person altogether. You are yourself putting, you are yourself criticizing yourself and blaming yourself. That's why it is very important to have positive thinking, constructive thinking, productive thinking. And a lot of small wins throughout the day will result in a positive attitude. And these are the small things that will accumulate. And one day it will give you a great achievement. So it is very important to be always positive and optimistic. So though there are other commemorations for this day, so let's conclude here. Maybe tomorrow we will take up today's commemorations also, if time permits. Uh, because I don't already we have exceeded time today, and tomorrow we will take it up the rest of the day. So always be positive, constructive, productive, and don't judge people. Try to judging is very easy. We can simply judge, criticize anyone, but try to understand what made him or her to behave or talk or do in that way. When you are try to understand, don't assume everything. Everyone is different, every organization is different, everyone has their own rules and regulations, everyone has their own way of doing, own preferences, own likes and dislikes. When you think, you also say, when we ask something to have it, they'll say I don't like it. So we also say I don't like it, I don't do it that way. So similarly we should be able to accept that in the very first place. Okay, this is not the way they work. So when we have to get along, then we need to go along with them. It's not that this is only way I expect, and you work to my tune, you dance to my tunes. That will not work everywhere. No, because when we are coming to someone, when we are going to some organization, when we are going to some institution where we have applied for a course, or we are going for a employment, we have to work as per their way. Otherwise, what you cannot declare our own terms and our own this thing to them. That is not. We should never do that. That shows our arrogance only there. So hope everyone is taking a very good outcome today. And I am taking our platform examples because we can correlate, because we all have similar experiences. Because other irrelevant examples, if I take someone, we may not so closely relate. So there is nothing that um, uh, I appreciate all the efforts we all are putting in, taking in time. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and see you all tomorrow uh, at the same time. And the feedback link is being shared in the chat box. Quickly fill up the feedback form before you leave the platform. And if you have any queries, you can unmute yourself and share your observations or comments, criticisms also, constructive, productive, as long as they contribute to something else, something for the betterment. We should criticize only when they are able to contribute. Otherwise, simply criticizing for the sake of criticizing, there is no purpose. And no one likes to be criticized. And every criticism should accompany with solutions which are feasible, which are implementable, which can be implemented. Otherwise, there is no purpose that criticism serves. So thank you everyone for joining us, and let's see you all tomorrow at the same time with a different topic. Take care, good night. And before leaving, kindly fill up the feedback form. It is mandatory for certificate. Registration form has also been shared. If you have not registered, register before or after filling the feedback. Make sure on the same day you are completing all the formalities. Within the specified time.